can't believe you took a swig of your food, but it's your mini, bro.
Welcome. Good evening, good morning, good night. Welcome to the mini.
You're literally
Today,
yelling.
We're going to talk about... Shut up, Lando. Today, we're going to talk about Mando season... Oh, no, it wasn't the season finale. It just felt that way. Just the newest episode. And I am joined today... Well, usually, by the way, I'm by myself. But today, I am joined by the lovely, wonderful Fernando Ramos. Hello. Say hello, everybody.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Everybody? It's more than one person here.
I'm saying the audience to say hello to you.
Oh,
you know?
say hello to me.
Yeah. So say hi.
They
so
know. They know. It's
Say hello
me.
so they can say hello back.
Hello.
There you go. And
It
so
would be weird if they didn't know who I was.
I'm going to run this episode like I usually do because Mando's my thing. I mean, it isn't my thing, but the episodes are my
It's
thing.
the homework task I gave him.
It's not a homework.
To give
I
me,
enjoy watching that
to
show.
give me
okay,
a mini
so we start.
once a time a week.
I'm going to... Should I do spoilers immediately or should I not?
I mean, what is there really to spoil? Everything was action oriented.
The action.
I think we just jump right into the action. There's no like oh they
No,
did
I'm
this.
saying like spoiling what happens. And should I... Whatever. I'm just...
No, bro. There's no
I don't
there's
give a
no thing you can spoil early on. It's all just fighting.
I don't give a fuck. I'm spoiling shit. So we start off where we left off
Laps.
last episode, right? Where Nando and no. We start off with the guy from Navarro this episode,
Yep.
right?
Yes, sir.
So we start off on Navarro where we're watching the High Magistrate Grief Karga, try to make Navarro better. So he's talking to like contractors and
It was engineers.
I'm sorry.
Make Navarro
engineers.
great again.
So he's trying to build like shipping docks and roads and shit like that so that
Rails.
his place can prosper. But
But
remember, the episode title was called The Pirate, right? And usually I don't watch recaps for this specific reason because it literally tells you what's gonna happen or who's gonna be in the episode. So usually I skip it. But Nando suggested we watch it, so we watched it.
I don't
And
skip it.
they show the little grass guy from like episode 2, the grass like pirate man.
The sea moss man.
Yeah, the sea moss man. The sea moss man, and then Mando ran away from. So he's come back to Navarro to get revenge on the group of thugs that were trying to like get into the school on Navarro that used to be a bar that he
yes,
like
sir.
paid for or whatever, and they shot him. So he came back to get revenge, and he's
Got
like,
his lick back.
he came to get his lick back, and he's like, yo, listen. He put him on the comm, and he was like, yo, listen to me, dog. I'm going to blow this place up, and it's going to be a pirate base, and if you don't call back to surrender, don't call me at all, because I'm about to start shooting, all right? And he was like, damn.
And then remember when
Oh, no.
remember when Mando tells Grogu, he's like, never trust a pirate. And then they
Yeah.
blast off.
Yep,
So
yep.
he said, yo, if he like you said, he's like, I'm gonna shoot if you call me back for no reason. And then he just starts shooting anyway.
He's like, I'm going to shoot anyway. So then Grief Karga, first he like tries to lie. He's like, well, you can't. Like, we're part of the Republic, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
the Republic is protecting us. He's like, no, they're not. I literally saw this like star chart or whatever. He's like, you're not part of it. And he's like, fuck. He's like, stop trying to bluff.
Bro really
And
said,
so-
I have the Atlas right here. You're not part of the you're not part of
You're
the
not
New
part of the
Republic."
group, bro. So then we go back to then he makes a message to the pilot. So he makes a little like disc message into his little R2 droid, and he sends it to the pilot that we saw. I think it was season 2 or 3, or is this season 3?
This is season 3.
So season 2, during like the ice planet where like all the spiders were. That's the first time we see him.
No, I think we saw him in season 1.
Did we? During the
The,
raid
like,
episodes, they came to catch
I
the
think-
crew, right?
I think it was like first
It was him and,
I think he first got him at a red light or some shit like that. Like that's when we. He's like, "Hey, what's your signature?"
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, hold on, let me transmit." And then he went to
And he just
hyperspace.
dips, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we catch up with this guy. So now he's like, he works for the Republic. He gets the message, and then he wants to help, but then he has to go to what was that guy's-
Coruscant. He was like, "I gotta go to Coruscant because they're not gonna take my transmission."
Yeah.
Or whatever. And before we even get to fucking Coruscant, we got a fucking live action adaptation of a character.
Oh, word! I completely forgot. So when we catch up with the guy, no, but I didn't even get there. I was saying that he got a message in a bar. You know?
Oh, you said.
I was already going to.
No, you were
Coruscant. You're right. I
going-
was
you
going to
were-
Coruscant. I completely
Whatever that
forgot.
guy's name is, the like
Yeah.
director of like HR or whatever,
Yeah,
whoever the
like
fuck that.
registration or some
Yeah,
shit.
he's like, I just handle this. Like, this,
He's like, I don't do nothing else, bro.
yeah.
So while he's at the bar and he gets the message from Grief Karga, he plays it like on a little like laptop looking thing, Star Wars laptop, and then it's basically Grief Karga saying like, oh, there's pirates here. They're gonna destroy the world if we don't get any help. And then Zeb walks in, live action Zeb from Rebels.
Zeb.
So
Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah, Star Wars Rebels. It was sick seeing him. At first, I thought it was just someone from his race, and then I heard his voice.
No,
I was like, oh, nah, that's Zeb.
It was definitely his
voice. 100% Zeb. Yeah. I was like, damn, that's so cool. He looked cool as hell.
They nailed him though.
That CGI was good. Usually, like Star Wars has some shit CGI sometimes, but that was good. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing that he didn't join the fight. Or
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm like, what a fucking like tease.
Because like literally all of Rebels, he was fighting. He's like a dog. He should be like ready, or maybe he's old.
But
Maybe
he's
like,
fighting with his crew though.
Yeah, maybe he's like, I'm sick of it. No,
he's like, I got 2 Jedi with me. I'm Gucci.
No, because his crew dipped.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But when he was fighting, he was.
I guess you're right. He was
fighting with his crew, you know.
And he had a Mandalorian. He had like his crew was stacked, bro.
He had a good pilot. Yeah. He had a sassy droid. Mm-hmm. It was a perfect mixture.
Oh, where's Chopper at?
I don't know.
We have seen live action.
Chopper was in Rogue One.
Yeah. And you also hear Hera Syndulla is being called in Rogue One, but we don't see her.
We see her. We see the ship. We see the ghost.
We see the ghost, but we don't see any of the people.
Yeah, when it's that montage, like getting towards Scarif, it's like at the very bottom of the screen, you can see the ghost.
So then he relays this message to the guy in Coruscant who is the registrator or whatever the fuck. So he basically tells everyone else where to go with the resources that they have, but obviously they don't have enough. This is something that have always bothered me, right? It's like they toppled the Empire, and instead of using the resources that the Empire had, they burned all of it and got rid of it. But then now they don't have enough resources to protect the whole planet. They're dumb. And then later on in life, because they didn't have enough resources to protect the whole planet, the First Order was made.
That's true.
It's so stupid, bro. But whatever. So he goes to Coruscant, speaks to this guy, and is like, hey, listen, there's a planet on the Outer Rim called Navarro. It's going to be taken down by pirates. I need some help. And the guy's like, oh, I don't know. Like, the Outer Rim, we can barely even hold Mid-Rim. Like, I don't know if I could send that. And then this bitch come back. You know what bitch I'm talking about.
The killer.
If you've seen my episodes already, you know which bitch I'm talking about. That bitch that betrayed the doctor in
Goggles
a few episodes back. Which this is something me and you were talking about while the episode was happening. So they're having a meeting, the pilot and the register guy, right?
Seems like a pretty serious and closed meeting, right? By the way,
and she wide open, walks in and she's like, "I'm about to go to the lunchroom. Y'all want anything?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm good." And then she just stands there and doesn't leave and just starts listening to their conversation. And then she's like, "If it was my choice, I wouldn't go help him because we don't have the whatever." And then I'm like, "Who is this bitch, bro? I would have, if I was that pilot, I'm like, who is this? Like, she's literally coming, your assistant coming here asking for lunch. She's going to listen to our secret private meeting. Like, what is this? And she just sits there the whole time talking to them. It's so obvious that she's evil. That's what pisses me off about Star Wars is that, like, the very obvious evil people always get away with the most stuff. Like, they're just like, eh.
They get away with the most, like, obvious stuff,
obvious shit, yeah. Like, it's very obvious that person's going to betray you. So, he... again, ask, and then so basically the answer is no. They don't have the resources to send to Navarro, and now that this lady has convinced the guy that there's definitely no point in sending there's resources to Navarro, not only because 1, they don't have enough, 2, they're not part of the registry list, like they're not part of the rebellion alliance or whatever.
No, it's the New Republic. They're not official.
New Republic.
Like, they're not officially recognized under the New Republic charter.
So they don't have to support them.
They're like, hey, we do support like independent systems.
Yeah.
But they got priority. The people registered.
So that's what he was saying is that there's already people that are asking for supplies and asking for things, and it'd be weird if they sent the one that's not even on the list all the aid when all these other planets. So I get it, but at the same time, he got manipulated by that bitch.
Yeah, for real.
So then he's like, yeah, whatever. I'll and then he like the pilot like goes and deals with it on his own. He tracks. At first, I didn't understand how he tracked them, right? So I was like, how did he find the Mandalorians? Like, what the hell? So he goes to the Mandalorian planet, which the planet they've been staying on this whole season where, like, the big bird and the big alligator are. And he shows up, and he is like, hey, like, I'm just here. Like, no, don't shoot me. I'm just here to, like, talk to Mando about his friend. And he's like, what do you mean? What happened with grief? Blah, blah, blah. So he explains the situation to him, and he's like, he's always helped you. Why wouldn't you help him? And he's like, nah, you're right. So he's like, I just, by the way, good dude, because he's like, I know your location because of R5, by the way, the droid that
R7, I think.
no, it's R5.
Are you sure? Who's R7?
Another droid, dog. It's R5.
Well, you said R2 droid earlier, and I think you meant R5.
No, I meant Astromech.
I don't know, but
it's R5.
Are you sure?
The little white and red one, that's R5.
It's not R7.
I'm like 75% sure.
That's not even that much.
I'm like 65% sure. Nah, I'm like 85% sure that that's R5. But whatever. So he says that he tracked them because he fought during the rebellion with R5. And I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. But R5's a fucking snake. He snitched after they adopted him. Snake-ass droid.
Bro, Din didn't even want him. He's like, I don't fuck with droids.
Yeah, but
and
then after...
the mechanic was like, you better fuck with droids.
But after they saved him on Mandalore, he's like, you know what? I kind of fuck with the droid now. Like, he always opens up to the droids that he says he hates. So then... after the pilot leaves, he's like, I found the location, but just know that I would never tell anybody, even if you do relocate, which I know you will. They have this like meeting of Mandalorians, right? Which is funny.
Mando meeting.
Because the armor's hammer is the talking stick. They pass it around when they speak. That's really funny.
He was talking and nobody was saying anything, and I was like, I looked at you and I was like, is he holding the talking stick? And then he gives it back to her, and she's like, anybody else want to talk? And then Paz Vizsla says, I've got something to say.
So, yeah. So, basically, I don't know word for word. I don't remember what he said.
I'll tell you.
Oh, you know?
He was like, he started off really negative. Like,
no,
why
not Paz. I'm talking about Din. What he said to convince them.
He was just saying, this guy.
Like, what's the gist of what he was saying?
Done right by me.
But by the way, the Mandalorians don't like Grief Karga because originally Grief was like kind of evil in season 1.
He's like a snitch.
He's like the bounty hunter leader, and then when they all turned on the bounty hunters, he was like, "I'm gonna just call the Empire." And then he did.
Yeah.
So I get why they don't trust him, but yeah. So basically, it's Din trying to convince all the other Mandalorians, like, "Hey, like this is a good guy. He's helped me. He's helped me save Grogu plenty of times. I've helped him, and yeah, and then."
But first he says, he's like, hey, he offered me a plot of land.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Something we could use, you know?
Yeah, he promises the Mandalorians that, hey, maybe we don't have Mandalore anymore, but we can settle somewhere. Like, this guy has promised us land, and we could, and then our children can have sun on their faces. And Nando was like, they literally wear helmets. What the fuck is he talking about? And I started dying. I was like, you're right, bro. They wouldn't hit the sun unless they're, like, alone.
Bro, he said,
they take off the helmet?
He was like, where our children can feel the joy of playing in the sunlight. And I was like, bro, they literally wear helmets and armor.
But you, as a kid, you only wear a helmet until you, like, did that baptism shit. So I guess for a while you don't. So technically he's right.
Bro, he's talking about Grogu. He's like, yo, you got to give Grogu a chance to play in the sun, you know, where he feels safe.
Which is crazy because Grogu's old as hell. He's like 50-something years old compared to all those other kids.
He's still a fucking toddler, though.
So then he does that whole speech. And now go ahead. Who gets to stick next and what does he say?
Paz Vizsla. He's like, yo, this is fucking dumb. He's like, this is the most outlandish, stupid shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, he's like, they killed our people, dog. How could you?
And then he still sounds mad when he changes his mind. But he's like, but Din Djarin has done good by me. Bo-Katan
has done good by me.
Like, she saved my son when we all gave up anyway. Because, like, I think he's talking about when she flew after the bird and nobody else flew with her.
Because no one has a ship. Which, by the way,
she jetpacked to him. She jetpacked.
No, I know, but it's something that I had a question about since they've been on that planet. I'm like, why haven't they moved? It's because none of them have fucking ships. How did they get there? Did they all jetpack to another planet?
No, that's not possible.
So how did they get there?
I think he's talking about the moment where like they got to the top of the nest and they were like the 3 baby ones and they were
and then she flew after the bird.
Yeah, she flew directly after the bird, and so because there's that scene where like the bird kicks her off and shit.
It kicks her the powder and the shoulder.
So I think that he was appreciative of that moment, but he was like, so if this is a chance for a new beginning or some shit like that, or a new chance, let's take it.
Take it, yeah.
And then we got a montage, bro.
And bro, this episode was good.
But first of all, could we like, so Din goes ahead and he kind of like sets the tone, right? He goes out, sets the tone. He's getting in this epic like ship to ship battle, and fucking Grogu is in the cockpit with him,
chilling the whole time.
Bro, he looked scared as fuck.
He was like, "Oh!"
in my head, I'm like, you could die at any moment.
Yeah, because you saw the maneuvers he was doing in the sky. He was spinning and twirling. I'm like, damn, imagine being in the cockpit just
Goku's like,
going
whoa,
crazy.
whoa.
But yeah, so they get to Navarro, and then so Din is supposed to be like the distraction, basically. Like he goes in first, shoots the ship, and then starts flying, and then they send other fighters after them. And then while they're all focusing on Din, Bo-Katan comes through with her ship
With the squad.
with all the Mandos in there, and then they all drop down, and they all like jetpack. It was sick. They all like jetpack down, and then they just start murking all the pirates. It's like doo doo doo.
So they clear out like all the places that they're hiding, and then they get like in this like surrounded. They get surrounded by these pirates, and then we get the fucking armorer with the talking stick beating.
Oh wait,
people's
let's
brains
talk about that one scene with the monkey lizards. That shit was funny, bro. So when they're like raiding the town, they're shooting like everybody, right? And they aim at the tree with all the like Kawaki and monkey lizards, right? And they're about to shoot them, but that's when all the Mandalorians drop down. And so while they're all fighting, the Kawaki and monkey lizards are like, "Hey, they're over there!" They start pointing at the enemies so that the Mandalorians can go get them. I was like, "That's fucking funny."
I think that one of the Mandos go like, "I think they're over there."
It is so fun. It's such a good scene. But yeah, go ahead. So the armor goes up to like where Greef Karga's like little like his offices, I guess.
Yeah, it was his office, his chambers.
Yeah.
And she beats the shit out of everybody with a talking stick. And then you were like, "How is that lizard not hearing his homies get murked like that?" Which makes sense because it is a lizard.
It's one of what's that bounty hunter? Bosks. Yeah, it's one of his race, and they're super good at hunting.
They are good at hearing things, and so he didn't.
And they see like in red vision or whatever, like infrared.
Infrared.
Because I remember that one episode where they were hunting Wookiees. They were seeing in like infrared, and he just watched. And she's not even like silently shooting anyone. She's beating people up with like a hammer and a sickle, and it's mad loud. And then he's just like, "Huh?" when she gets to him.
He's like, "What?" Boom, and then falls off the fucking balcony.
Which, by the way, the armor is a beast. I've never seen her use a gun, but she always takes out everyone in front of her with the hammer.
Bro, I can't believe you thought the armor was
We'll get there.
Bo-Katan's
We'll get
sister,
there.
bro.
We'll get there.
I can't believe that.
So she's in Greef Karga's office. She beats everybody that's in there because they have a big heavy artillery like laser cannon, and they're shooting everybody. So all the Mandos that are on the land are like taking cover currently. So like Paz and all his homies. So she goes up there, beats them up, and then takes the cannon for the Mandos, right? So then now they have the advantage, and they're winning the fight. And then where do we go from here?
Bo-Katan starts shooting the ship, and we were complaining about the engines taking too long when they're destroying the ship. I'm like, you've never played Battlefront? You know you gotta get the shields down before you can make damage.
Yeah.
But
so and then they do like a bombing run, like her and Din, right? They go like
to finish off the ship because they were blasting at the
because at one point they're like, "Oh, we know we're gonna lose. Might as well like just start murking
killing
people."
the people. Yeah. So they weren't even trying to kill the Mandalorians. It was just the citizens of the towns. They were trying to bomb them. But which my thing is like, they were like shooting the missiles, but like, "Oh, we missed you. Oh, we missed you."
And even when they ran into like open area, they were still not shooting the townfolk, even though that's what he said he wanted to aim for.
Nah, he wanted to like prove the point and shoot the town. I think he just wanted to make a point.
So before he kills the townfolk, Din and Bo-Katan blow up the ship.
It goes down right on the land that they were promised.
Yep. I don't know if that's true, but that's
I was
what
like,
we assumed.
oh, look at that! Look, their land, their land's all fucked up.
And then once they win the battle, Greef gets his city back, and then he has this long speech with Actually, no, we have a scene with Bo-Katan and the armorer first, or is that after his scene?
That's after.
That's after his scene?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So after the fight, Greef Karga talks to all the Mandalorians and tells them about the plot of land that he promised Mando, and he's like, "I'll give you even more land. From like here all the way down to here. It will be all of the Mandalorians because they saved our town, and we are forever grateful." Type shit. And I was like, "Oh, that's great. Wow, what a good dude." Now they could like chill at a spot. And then we got another scene where it's Bo-Katan and the armorer. Actually, no, Paz goes up to her and is like, "The armorer wants to see you," right?
Yeah.
While Greef was giving his speech, right? And I was like, "Oh, were they about to fight? Like, what's going on?" I was like, "Is it tension?
You about to get banned again?"
Yeah. Speaking of that, so she gets to the armorer, right? And they start having a conversation, and then she's like, "Yo, take your helmet off." And she's like, "What?" didn't you just like have this whole thing about me not being a real Mandalorian? And she's like, yo, take your fucking helmet off. And I was like, it'd be so funny if this is a test and she takes it off and then like, you're gone. It's over.
We got him. We got that bitch.
Yeah. So she takes her helmet off and then she starts to explain to her that like, hey, ever since you saw that Mythosaur.
Mythosaur. You got a lip?
Damn,
lisp,
bro. That's a hard ass word to say. Mythosaur.
Mythosaur?
Once she spoke to her about the Mythosaur, I believed it was like she didn't really believe her, but apparently
having a stroke. I've never heard
Always
you
having a stroke.
mispronounce Mythosaur like this much.
who cares? Always having a stroke. So she tells her like, oh no, I do believe you, and it must mean a new era of Mandos if you saw a Mythosaur, because that's what the legend is, right? So she is embracing the fact that there is no right way, right? She's like, this is the way, and we should be with like a people as one. So it's okay to take off your helmet. And bro, the whole time they're having this conversation, this is what I thought my theory was. That's Satine, like which is her sister,
Duchess Satine,
but it
of Mandalorian.
Once I thought about it, I was like, oh nah, she'd be like 75 years old.
Bro,
she'd be an old ass lady. There's
There's
no way she's moving like the armor. She's definitely not moving like the armor. But also,
Darth
she also
Maul.
got murked by Darth. But also, mad people got murked in Star Wars and come back.
No way.
Yes, they do.
No, her Duchess Satine is the lover, not a fighter.
That is very true. Also.
She
was the passive. That's why I was like, dude, wouldn't it have been cool if the person was all about peace the whole time, went back to the old ways, and then was out here just murking people with a hammer, bro? That'd be sick.
Nah,
it'd be so cool. But no, it wasn't.
She had the Frank baby pistol that Ellie gets. She had her own baby pistol in one of the Clone Wars episodes. She never really used it either. She was like, oh, fucking scared to shoot that shit. And then Anakin killed somebody in cold blood, and
she felt some type of way about it.
And Obi-Wan was like, Anakin. And he was like, hey, he was going to blow up the ship. What am I supposed to do?
But remember that episode?
That was a good episode.
That's the episode where he tells her, if you would have said it, I would have left
the Jedi Order. Like,
Yep.
What a fucking simpy simp.
I love that for him.
Simp monks.
So they have this conversation. She asks her to take the helmet off. They reconvene with all the other Mandalorians, which, by the way, I thought for sure that the armor also took her helmet off because, like you mentioned, that when they were showing they show reaction shots before they show
Bo-Katan with no helmet.
Bo-Katan walking past them, right? So I'm like, why are they reacting like this? Like they haven't already known that this person takes her helmet off constantly, right? It's only just now that she's like committed to the creed. So I would have thought, damn, it must be more of a surprise to see the person who never took her helmet off take her helmet off, right? But no, it was
just fucking regular ass
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan.
Oh, which by the way, we missed it is the fact that this whole speech that she had was her like basically telling her like, oh, she wants her to rule Mandalore. She wants her to be queen, which is, I mean, it's
we
fine.
might have to revisit that speech. I don't think it was to be queen, but I think she just wants to be the catalyst that starts a new age of Mandalore.
Yeah.
And ultimately, when she walks out with no helmet and the armor says, we're not gonna settle for here. We're gonna go back to Mandalore.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest like announcement like of the season so far. Apparently, it's only 8 episodes,
so we have
which is surprising. I thought it would be a little bit longer. I thought it would be at least 10.
What's
but
up with shows recently? Like not
having long
more
episodes. I have no idea.
Not long, but just more. If you're not gonna make them long, make more.
Honestly, I think Yellow Jackets was 10 episodes, and I was very satisfied with 10 episodes.
But it's because every episode's like an hour long.
That is true.
So that's why.
Very true. But
with Mando, it's like 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
It's like 32 minutes.
Yeah,
and like
it's
15
like
minutes of credits.
It's so like sporadic that you can't ever.
I'm gonna trust the process. I hate that I have to wait for new episodes.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I think if I can
I feel like I'm sick of like having to go back in time and now watch TV like we used to watch TV. Like just let me binge the show like I used to when Netflix first started.
Like I don't think these companies realize that doing it this way is not going to make me keep paying for it. I was gonna pay for it regardless.
Exactly.
And I was paying for it because I wanted to watch it all in one sitting.
Exactly.
Like
I pay yearly, not weekly, bro. Don't do that to me,
bro. And honestly, it's
monthly.
not. I'm not paying because you giving me these shows like
every
or
few days.
Yeah, I'm not paying for like your back catalog. No, I'm here. I'm paying for the Mandalorian. I'm paying for new movies,
new season of Clone Wars, new seasons of the Bad Batch.
Even on Netflix, it was like when I used to pay for Netflix and shows would like release all their episodes.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is cool. I get to watch this today
and finish it today if I really wanted to. Right? You could binge it.
And even if
Netflix started doing that shit too now.
Yeah, and they need to know their place. They need to not do that. But even with Netflix, it was like I'm not paying for the Netflix originals. Sure, that's nice to have when it comes out.
They're not that good usually.
But I'm here just go on a streaming service and what the fuck am I gonna watch? I started watching Bird Box the other day.
The movie?
Yeah,
The
I'd
one
never
with,
watched Machine Gun Kelly and
with
Sandra
the-
Bullock
with
in the eyes. Yeah.
That's a good film.
I didn't know it was good. I just saw.
Damn, you went that long without
I went
ever
that.
watching
I've
it?
never no spoilers, no nothing, and I'm watching it
Really?
halfway, and then my sister's like, "I already saw this," and went to the next shit. But I was like,
Damn.
"Damn, it was getting interesting."
You should
though.
watch it.
It was getting interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know what's up with streaming services these days, and we just veered off topic for a little bit.
It doesn't matter.
But,
That's what we're known for. That's why it's idle talk.
but 3 episodes, and
Yep.
we're
we're
talking
done.
about approaching Mandalore, and you made a
Yes.
great point. You were like, "It's a glass world. What do you mean you're gonna go?"
Yeah,
over
like how
there?
would they? Even if they do take it back, how do they cultivate on that world?
I think
How do you? Like,
there's a
plant
foreshadowing
stuff?
moment in the armorer's speech where they go
Uh-huh.
back to their original forge underground on that particular planet.
Mhm.
And I think they don't mind living underground because we saw the waters
Yeah,
of
I guess-
Mandalore
yeah, I guess you're right.
still
But then
work
dude,
underground. You
would
know?
they have to come up to eat then? To like, they would have to leave the planet. How would they grow food?
That's a
They
great
would have to do
question.
either trade. They would have to trade food with other people, or grow it on probably the moon or that other planet
I
that
mean,
they were on.
they have
What's
the-
that planet that Bo-Katan's like?
It's a moon. It's not a planet. All the surrounding like quote unquote planets
Well,
around
her-
Mandalore.
the moon that she was
They're
on.
moons.
There was
Con-
mad
the moon
grass
of
on it.
Concordia.
But there was mad grass. They could probably go to the moon and grow stuff.
They could probably just live on that moon that she lives,
but
but
she does.
they can't. You know why? Because the Empire blew up.
Well, yeah, they know where it is.
They know where it is. So I think just living underground in Mandalore
It's probably safer.
really fleshing it out, like an underground civilization where they
Yeah.
could definitely. It's fucking Star Wars. You could definitely have some kind of architectural thing going
Yeah.
on if everybody puts their minds to it, for sure. But
Mhm.
I think they don't mind living underground.
I don't.
I
think
mean,
so
they've
either.
done it. That
Yeah.
particular group
Yeah,
has done it
plenty of
for
times.
years.
Yeah.
When everybody thought the Mandalorian was the
yeah.
only one,
Yeah.
and they would take turns going outside one by one.
Mhm.
So I just don't think it matters anymore to them. I think just they want to have their namesake planet back.
Yeah, it seems like they want to stop being a like barely any of us to they want to rebuild their community, rebuild their reputation as like
Yeah, they want. I think they want. You made a great point about reputation. I think they want to restore the like. Oh, these are Mandalorians from Mandalore.
Yeah.
You know, they want to really put that back into their name. I
which
think.
by the way in this episode they lived up to the
they
name.
lived up to the
'Cause
hype. Bro.
sometimes we see
Motherfuckers was
them,
getting shot and they didn't die, except
No,
that
but
one guy.
because you know that one mission with the bird.
Yeah.
Like they were semi competent, and you're
Mhm.
like, as Mandalorians, y'all should be way better at this.
When it comes to killing people,
yeah, but when it comes to killing, they are on another level, bro.
they're
They,
like,
they were like the most competent team of people I've ever seen.
sit back and watch this.
They're like the most advanced clone trooper thing I've ever. Like they were
They're
like
the model.
working like a team, bro.
they're the
They're the well, I mean, yeah, Django. Cause
yeah. He was a foundling, even though they don't claim him.
they should claim him.
They just don't claim him because he was a bounty hunter. But meanwhile,
They're all bounty hunters.
Din
now.
is a fucking bounty
Yeah,
hunter.
they're all bounty hunters now.
Because Bo-Katan speaks about Jango Fett in a bad light when she's speaking to Boba in the
Yeah,
Book of Boba Fett.
in season 2, I remember, and
Yeah.
he's like, "No, like this is my armor." Like,
Yeah,
we-
this is my
we-
armor. Yeah,
This is
that's my dad. Or
Yeah,
that's your fucking
He's like, it's
donor.
literally our what is it? Serial code on it or some shit. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's literally his.
It's just like house
House
code
of,
or
House of
whatever.
Fett or some shit. You know, I like his the house. I don't know if is it the Fett house or is it?
I don't know what
it's
house
whoever
it is.
adopted Django's house.
Yeah,
It's like a leaf. It's a cool sigil.
The leaf reminds me of like a Naruto headband.
It's,
Like-
I really like it. It's cool.
But yeah, that was this week's
That was this
episode. I
week's
think
episode,
next
yeah.
week's predictions. I think we're gonna get everybody on either their own ships
Mhm.
or we're gonna get like a shuttle.
What do you think is
something.
gonna be like?
I think it's gonna be like a bus service. Hey, let's all go to Mandalore real quick.
Well, I mean, they all used her ship as
Yeah,
a bus service. I think
I think it'll be so much cooler if everybody like gets a ship. Like not like every individual person, but there's like multiple ships.
like
just to,
each clan has their own like little.
oh, that would be nice
ship
too.
like
if
she
each clan
does.
had their own ship. Yeah.
So for me, I think my prediction would be, I'm just predicting the finale that somebody rides the mythosaur that's in the water.
No, it's
That's
definitely
my
gonna be
prediction.
Bo-Katan, and
I think it's gonna be
And
somebody.
I think that's the way she gets the darksaber back, and I think that's how she rules Mandalore, not by single comment, but by doing something. So
Oh, speaking of that, you just reminded me now
what?
that during the door, but during the
Because your door's slightly open, by the way. Yeah, I just noticed that like 25 minutes ago.
whatever. So during his like little speech thing, and he's holding the stick, and he's like, I know I don't have like the power or the respect to like make y'all.
We were hoping that Din was like, I got the dark saber.
I was about to.
listen
I
me.
was like, bro, just pull out. Yeah, like they would all absolutely listen to him, even if he. I guess he's more of a person that's like, I don't want to be a dictator. Like, if you guys want to follow me, great. If you don't, then don't. But he technically could just be like, meow.
He's not inspiring people, okay? He's not like
But he was inspiring people.
Paz Vizsla's house. Who is that's
House Vizsla? Yeah.
House Vizsla. That guy.
Pre Vizsla.
He was
a
like,
maniac.
we're gonna go and we're gonna take back
Yeah.
our blah, blah.
Yeah,
So
Pre
he
Vizsla
was
was
like
crazy.
inspiring people.
Yeah.
Din's like, anybody want to come with me?
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, that's my only gripe with Din. It's like ever since from the moment that they gave him that saber, I was like, yes, they're gonna make him like the leader, and they're gonna make him the king, and build him up to this. And it's like, no, he's just become the Jon Snow of Star Wars, where he doesn't want to be king.
From that moment, he's like, man, this thing is heavy, man. I gotta carry this shit with me all the time.
Yeah, bro, they've been giving Bo-Katan the coolest scenes this season. They've propped her up to be the leader of Mandalore. They give her dope ass dog fights. They give her dope ass jetpack fights, dope ass gunfights, and the dopest, coolest darksaber fight we've seen in so long.
Can
like
I tell you
live
something?
action.
Can I tell you something? And I want you to just take this in. In one of your minis, you were like, putting the gripe about that. Like, this is the show about the Mandalorian. I want Din. Like, you know, I don't think the show is about Din. I think the title of
is about Grogu.
No.
Is that the theory that everyone uses?
No. This let's go back to season 1 where every Mandalorian was like taking turns going outside.
Yeah.
I think that's
The
what the
concept?
show is about. This show is not just about Din. Even though we follow him for the most majority of the part.
Yeah.
I think in the long-term storytelling, it's about
just
like
about the
rebuilding
the Mandalorian.
the Mandalorian. I think giving that namesake back to like, oh, they're from Mandalore. They're these warrior people. We're given this like so long like history
between
of
these people and
we
the
can't
Jedi.
take off our helmets, and then we have an arc with the Mandalorian Din, and he's like, nah, I don't take off my helmet, and Bo and her homies that we never get to see again. That you mentioned
so many times. Where did they go?
that they take off their helmets all the time. Like, yo, those are the old ways. We're the new way.
Yeah,
right?
because old ways didn't work.
Yeah, and I think it's just the story of the show, of the series, is getting the Mandalorians back together
instead of them always fighting each other.
Yeah, I mean, because we have all these different houses and shit, and they're prone to having civil wars and stuff.
They're always fighting. There's always infighting.
I think the old way, the one that they never take their helmets off or whatever, I think that came from an era where all the houses stood together, and that Mandalorians were feared, not like House Vizsla was feared because they're like quote unquote terrorists or whatever. Yeah. So I think they're using Bo-Katan this season to be the catalyst that brings it together. I think.
Well, I still have a gripe. I wish it was Din.
I mean, of course.
I love Bo-Katan. I'm not gonna front. Bo-Katan is a great character, and I love her and everything.
I don't take that away from you because we spent a majority of the time with the only Mandalorian we had a connection with. Yeah. And now, as you know, we get Boba in season 2, right? We get that Mandalorian back, and then Bo-Katan gets introduced again. Another OG that we've seen in
from
other
the Clone Wars,
in other forms of media. Now it's time to flesh out these other guys too. I think so. I think the theme of this season, I think so far, has been like reunion, like reunification of the Mandalore.
Okay.
So I think that's where it's heading, and I think that Grogu has been useless this season. I think
not useless, but yes, they haven't been using his character.
I think
as good
this
as they
season
have.
could have been the same if just Grogu wasn't in it.
Yeah, they could have just left him with Luke
a little bit.
I guess you're
but
right.
The
they
thing
didn't have
is,
to bring him
the
back.
reason why he's back is because
everyone watched the show originally for him.
He's going to outlive
all of them
Din anyway. Because
all of the Mandalorians.
That Yoda species, I don't know.
They live for a while.
We don't even know what that species is called still, by the way.
Yeah, we don't know.
But he lived to be like 1,000 years old or more.
He was old, bro.
And so I think in his mind, he's like, there'll be another Jedi Master at some point. Like Luke will definitely train another Jedi Master, right?
Canonically, Luke is still alive. Ahsoka is still alive. Grogu's still alive. Cal Kestis is still alive. Ezra Bridger is still alive. Kanan Jarrus's baby is still alive.
No, he's dead.
The baby?
His baby.
His baby.
Oh, you said his baby. My bad. No, but I think
will be force sensitive.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, he definitely is.
Yeah.
But I think Grogu, with his time with Luke, unlocked a lot of mental things, not like physical things. Where like, oh, he should be jumping around, like because he does that.
He does do that now.
But
it's fun to watch.
I think his lessons with Luke were like, Luke is building something. Luke is like trying his best to restore this Jedi Order. We eventually learn that Luke was trying to do it the old way, and Yoda gets mad at him. He's like, the old way
That's
didn't
way,
work.
way later,
Clearly,
though. Yeah.
But I think Grogu has that insight, that hindsight, where it's like, there'll be Jedi masters.
Yeah.
There'll be people who could train me.
There will
A lot of people get
the
trained
Force will
late.
always do something to balance itself out, but
Yeah.
Mandalorians have nothing to do with the Force, and they
he's
can
like,
be extinct.
This is my family.
Yeah,
This is my new
which is weird. It's a weird concept knowing that a Jedi's number one rule is no attachments, right? And then Grogu is literally a Jedi in training, or I guess a Mandalorian training now, right? But he was trained as a Jedi for a long time at Coruscant, right? And now he literally has all those. He has a family. He has a dad.
I think on
He has a closer
Coruscant,
family.
we don't know to the extent of what he was being trained as, because he was still in that pod, by the way.
But that's only because he moves around in it.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Sure he was out of it. to
But I'm
train.
saying is we don't know how they develop as a species.
Yeah, I don't even know who's his parents.
Like Yoda,
Where are they from?
Yoda was the Grand Master for,
for a while.
1,000
yeah,
years.
for a while. And then the only one we ever saw after him was Yaddle. And then we found out what actually
she
happened.
died. Yeah,
Because for a long time we are like, she just disappeared. But she did die.
she got clapped by Count Dooku.
But those are the only two we ever saw. So is it their kid?
That's up until interpretation.
Because
really.
what other times have we ever seen someone of their species?
Well, before we end this up, there was an arc in the Clone Wars where Cad Bane was hunting Force sensitive children,
Yeah.
and there was a map dictating where these kids were. How the fuck did you make that map? Where did you get that
It was
map?
in a holocron.
It was a holocron.
Damn, bro, I'm eating the English words today. Holocron.
It was
Damn.
a map in a holocron.
Yeah.
And so what I'm thinking is I don't know how to explain things that, like, you need to know where they are in order to make a map.
Yep.
Maybe he was just one of those kids that they found on the map. Maybe, like,
Oh.
I don't want to say the
But the
Force
thing is,
makes the map or whatever.
After
but
Order 60, he was already in the
exactly.
thing.
So he could have been found at any point
Before
without with.
Because I know after Order 66, the whole point of Jedi Fallen Order is you find the map with all the Force
Yeah.
sensitive kids, because the guy you play, Cal, wants to train them,
Yeah.
right? But then at the end, he's like, it's not up to me. He has the same revelation as like, the Force will do what the Force will do. If these kids need to become Jedi, they will. So he like slices the holocron.
Which is the most key important piece.
Yeah,
I
because
think.
now no one can find the kids. If the kids
Exactly.
need to be found, the Force will find them.
But I think just Grogu he's wise, where I think he realized how much time he has, because Luke tells him this. He's like, you'll be around way longer than him, way longer than me. So you need to decide what you want. Do you want to be Yoda, basically? Do you want to train for 1,000 years kind of deal? Or do you want to go back
to
and
your father.
Have attachments? Again, Luke gives him that choice, same like Cal Kestis, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to seek out these children and take them away like the Jedi did. I'm not going to take them away from their family. If they want to be with their family, let them be with their family. And I think that's the decision Grogu came with after spending 2 years with Luke, apparently. But he is like, he got that dog in him. He's humble. Like, he's wise like a Jedi, you know? He's not like when he had that little training sequence like the last episode, like no, Grogu could have ended that first
he could have
round.
ended it. Yeah, he could have just jumped over him and shot him. But he was like, you know what? I don't even really care.
He's like, I don't want to do
it's
this.
Until the dad was like, yo, come on, bro. You're embarrassing me out here. That he actually tried.
Yeah, so I think the overarching themes is, the Mandalorian is about all the Mandalorians. It's about just reuniting the world, reuniting the religion or whatever it is. It's a warrior religion. But I think it's just, that's the overarching theme. It's like, get everybody together. Like the Sith. I told you the Sith. I was like, if the Sith banded together like these people, it would be a wrap for the Jedi.
Yeah, for sure.
It would have ended way sooner.
For sure. But the Sith were
ego. Too much ego.
So dumb.
And I think the Mandalorians is not enough ego. I think that's why they got.
Really,
like,
I think it's the same.
I think they got taken out because they just didn't like have any like pride towards the end, where like the Mandalorians that became Imperials.
Just end it. I don't want to. I'm gonna keep going, bro. If you don't stop,
okay.
End the episode.
You ended.
Bro.
Your mini, bro.
We're gonna keep going for like 70 minutes if we don't stop. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this Idle Talk mini about Mandalorian new episode. And yeah, go listen to us on YouTube at Idle Talk. Right? What is it?
Idle Talk Pod.
Idle Talk Pod. Go like and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. Love you. Bye bye.
No way. This is 40 minutes. Can we go to Whole Foods and get a margarita pizza?